Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Thursday night, July 20th, 2023. It's about 10:30 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity looks like a 1.4 here around the just north of the Bay Area in the San Francisco region. Notice we did see some extremely deep movement up here into the Japan area earlier this morning, 420 kilometers deep there into the Japan Trench. Also, New Zealand showing a slight uptick here with some threes across the board. Starting off here with the GeoNet servers, about 34 minutes ago, they did see a 3.1 coming into the Hastings area, it looks like. Also 3.5, a 2.8. A little bit of an elevated movement here kicking up over the last few hours across New Zealand. Some of that activity stirring up here on the drums as well. You can see some of that movement over the last 24 hours around North Island and also down into the South Island area. There's that 3 kicking up. So keep an eye on this area for New Zealand. Puerto Rico area back to swarming again up here. The latest quake here, a 3.3, 18 kilometers deep. Notice we did see some previous activity throughout the last 24 hours right smack dab on the Puerto Rico Trench there with the latest, or at least the largest one in the last 24 hours at 4.1. Continue to watch this area because it has been fairly elevated across the past couple weeks or so. All right, zooming in here to the Pacific Northwest, mostly smaller microquake activity, although Mount St. Helens here seen a little bit of movement, 1.1 earlier this morning it looks like, and some smaller activity as well. Mount Hood showing some activity, a couple smaller microquakes. Let's go ahead and pull up the tremor map from today. Looking at 32 epicenters of tremor, a little bit down in Oregon and a little bit into the Washington area. Now we'll check out volcano seismicity here across Mount Hood, see what we have stirring up there, if anything. This is the area that did see a couple smaller quakes here around this triangle, which is a 3-component broadband station monitoring seismic activity up there around the top of Palmer Lift. And sometimes this station does have a lot of outside interference, some type of machinery, I don't know what. Earthquake activity is going to be this well defined. When it's within this zone, it may be hard to spot it out, but looks like for the most part mellow up there across the Mount Hood area, aside from a couple of those smaller microquakes. I'm sure the same thing around Mount St. Helens. We'll double check that as well, although this earthquake activity kind of away from the crater, or at least the summit region. Let's take a look here around Rembrandt, Mount St. Helens, see what's going on up there. Now, sometimes activity like this does get stirred up. I'm not for sure if that's a mix of earthquake activity and maybe who knows what else. Let's see here. That looks like maybe one, a couple other smaller ones in there. But as far as this jumbled up mess of activity, hard to say. For that, we'd have to look at another station within the vicinity of the of this seismograph station for verification on if it's seismic activity or interference locally to that seismograph station there. Here's the one right next to it. Kind of looks the same, huh? Unless this is the one I just pulled up. Let me see here. This one's not found. So this is a newer one. Still has that activity up there. I don't know, is there snow up there by chance, or any kind of maybe snow belt? I don't know. I have to look into that. A lot of it doesn't look like earthquake activity. It looks like some type of noise going on there. Let me see if we can pull up the GPS stations up there around the Mount St. Helens region, just to see what's going on up here. Get back on the map. There we go. I don't know specifically if they have any up here. I'm sure they do. They have to. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, I was a little bit far down. I mean, far up. Let's see here. That's... Yeah, there we go. There's a couple. Looks like they're working there. Let's pick out this one right here. This right here will give us a good indicator if there's any type of uplift or downtrend or inflation and whatnot. Data products, and then we go over here to the cleaned, which is the cleaned up area. Get rid of the noise, so to speak. Northward movement, obviously this goes back to 2004. What we would want to see is the height, or I don't know if we want to see it, but this is what we're looking for as far as volcanic activity goes, the vertical displacement. But notice that downward trend here in the end of 2023. That could have a part in earthquake activity. Notice a lot of these specks here pointing downward. Let's check out one more and see what we have here. We'll check out, I don't know if this one's working or not. Unavailable. It just says status unavailable, so maybe it's working, but let's see here. Failure. Okay, that one's not working. Whoops, went a little bit too far there. A couple clicks too far. Let's see here. There we go. We'll just check something a ways out of here on the southwestern flank and just take a look here, see what's going on. Same for here, it looks like. The height just going down. I don't think there's any type of volcanic activity around there at Mount St. Helens. Just some small microquake activity stirring up slightly. But aside from that, things look pretty quiet. Let me close this out here. I was wondering why I'm getting a little bit of glitching going on there. Not for sure why, but okay. Northern California, pretty quiet aside from some small microquake activity up here around the Cobb Mountain area. And Long Valley supervolcano here showing some small, very small microquake activity here over the last 24 hours. Not seeing any major swarm, no major unusual activity stirring up there in Southern California currently. It's all very small microquake activity. In fact, I think all of this out here is below the 2.5 threshold. We have seen a lot of advancement further westward along the western Pacific plate. Has a lot to do with the relief out here across the states. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on over here. It doesn't look like a lot here on the USGS model, but we do see some deeper quakes here into the just north of Japan, into the Japan Trench, and getting that clutter of activity trying to make its way around the Java Trench. We did see a slight elevated uptick activity here across the Java Trench with some forest stirring up, but we're still seeing that crunching going on here across the New Guinea area, it looks like, and the rest of the Indonesia Islands area. Some movement here also outside the Solomon Islands and north of Vanuatu, 4.5 to 4.9 coming in there. And of course, we got the activity stirring up here across New Zealand. We'll continue to watch that for some adjustment. South America region, couple earthquakes here, 4.7, the latest there on the map. The EMSC model globe looks like a 3.8 stirring in there as well within the last 10 minutes or so. Looks like things trying to kick up here. There's that 5 point. I see somebody reporting a 5.1. Looks like USGS reporting that as a 4.7. But either way, I think we can agree that there's slight uptick going on there across the area. One earthquake up here on the Middle America Trench, but that's not the only one here. Again, still seeing a pretty good clutter of 3s and 4s out here. I guess it's below the threshold for the USGS, but it's definitely still coming in there across the area. The Atlantic Ocean, still seeing some movement up here across the top of the globe, way up north here. As you can see, well off the coast of Greenland, and low activity here into the northern Atlantic near the Wreck James Ridge. That earthquake coming in early this morning, it looks like about 2 o'clock or so for that 4.6. Rest of the Atlantic Ocean shows not a whole lot. One earthquake out here around the Azores, it looks like, 2.7. That's going to be this little plate boundary right in here. Fracture zone. Aside from that, looking at the Mediterranean area, some activity here near Iran from earlier this afternoon. Also around the India area, seeing a 4-pointer in that activity as well. Mediterranean region. Looks like some 3s and maybe even a 4-pointer out there. Some aftershock activity occurring there in Turkey as well. But yeah, just kind of seeing how this plays out in the next movement. I mean, we're definitely starting to stir up out here once again. Things tend to take a break, then they'll kick back up over here across the eastern Pacific and vice versa. But we got the Atlantic stirring up again, at least the northern part. That could be having an effect out here across the Caribbean plate. This is a region that gets kind of squeezed and squished around. A lot of divergent boundaries out here positioned. So when we see earthquake activity out here, it tends to put a lot of strain in many different areas. All right, the Atlantic or the Alaska area, not a whole lot going on here. Looks like some movement across the Mount Martin area. Looks like Trident volcano. This has just been an ongoing deal here. A little bit of microquake swarming. Hawaii. See what's going on out here in the beautiful big blue Pacific. One earthquake up on the top of, well, that's, I shouldn't say top, but that's well below the top of Mauna Loa. 34 kilometers for a 1.8. Most of the movement here, though, confined to the Pahala area of the Big Island. All right, let's check out the space weather activity here from solarham.net right here. A little bit calmer. Look at the global delayer absorption map. It looks like that's finally disappeared as far as the proton event goes. I'm starting to calm back down. Still looks like a 99% chance for C flare, M flare 45, X flare around 5% chance. Only a 25% chance for the proton event, but that's looks like it's dying off right now. Sunspot activity. It's pretty cool. I bought a solar sun filter here for my my Nikon zoom camera, and it's awesome. The only thing is it's, well, I got to work on it a little bit here as far as getting closer to these sunspot regions. Either way, I could definitely see all of these when I took the picture. And I bought this mostly for the solar eclipses that are coming up here over the next couple years. Of course, one in October. They call it the Ring of Fire, or annual eclipse. Kind of where the moon's not completely blocking out the sun, but it provides a really cool ring of fire type view, so I can't wait for that. I've seen a couple of those. I can never get enough of those. All right, looking at the magnetograms here of the sunspot regions. There's a few of them, definitely a few of them. Some are rather large, but not looking at anything major drastically growing here. Still watching this area right here, a couple different cores in there. And back here in the northeastern limb of the sun, that is just a kind of a jumbled up mess of a sunspot. It doesn't look like it's going to be promising, but we'll continue to watch these regions for any rapid development. Not looking at any major space weather events for now. So a little bit of quiet period going on in the solar weather department. Storm Prediction Center, a little bit of activity stirring up, it looks like, throughout the night into these areas. A little bit of noise going on. So I would love to go to sleep with thunderstorms going on. It'd be awesome. I don't think I'd sleep, though. I'd be up watching them. Let's see, what else is there? As far as long-term models go, looking at the numerical model here. Let's go ahead and see if I can get that to key up. There we go. I want to bring up a different region here, kind of a broader. This will work right here, I guess. A symbol. Now we are definitely cooking out here in California. Tomorrow's supposed to be 111 again. It just never ends. And then on Saturday, 111 as well, before a slight cool down into early next week. And you can kind of see that early cool down coming in. Notice that high pressure ridge starting to get scooted off a little bit further to the east, and we're going to be underneath the normal. This is pretty much the average temperature range. Pacific Northwest is going to be cooler, though. It looks like some much needed cooler conditions arriving for them. But keep an eye on this high pressure system here. It just kind of wants to blob around and take over the entire East Coast. Now, this was This is a little bit different here last night. So these models are they're kind of all over the place, bouncing back and forth. But it looks like it wants to point towards a trend of some cooler weather out here along the west coast, while the areas out east cook, literally. Should see some conditions above normal for a good portion of the Midwest area, Great Lakes region as well. Going to be cooking during that high pressure activity. As far as any hurricanes go, well, let's take a look here. I'm a little tired. So I'm gonna go, oh, what do we do here? Well, okay, there we go. Woo, the heat, man. It's a heat and no storms. I need some storms here to put me right back on track. Okay, so here we go. Got a little bit here. This is a forecast model out into the end of July. It looks like around July 27th, July 28th. Notice some tropical development building out there south of Florida. And that kind of comes into the Gulf where it's very warm right now. Looks like right around Louisiana, Baton Rouge probably. So we'll watch this because that shows a rather large and strong hurricane coming into that area. Looks like around the end of July, 1st of August. So we'll continue to watch that for some model agreements. You know, right now that's way out there. It's a little ways out there, but not too far out. Only about 10 days or so. So we'll continue to watch that and report back on it. The Gulf, of course, is very, very warm as far as the sea surface temperature goes. And we'll definitely continue to keep an eye on things, right around that time frame. Looks like August 1st or so. A lot of heat building up there in the Kansas, Nebraska as well. It's been a hot summer. I'm ready for it to be over, to be honest. Goodness, look at that. Towards the first week of August out here, we're talking about some super hot temperatures in the Pacific Northwest again. So we'll continue to watch this though and see how it plays out as far as the possibilities go for these details on the weather. All right, folks, have a good night. Stay safe out there. And yeah, it's just Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Woohoo! Friday. I may break out the barbecue. I don't know if I want to barbecue in 110. We'll see. Might be a pool day, though. Take care, folks. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Thursday night. Peace out.